What's going on, guys? It's been a while. A Miz in the Midday has been needed. Look, I don't even beat around the bush. I'm just going to go right to it here. Yeah, the Giants gave the Eagles a tough game yesterday. Yo, you know what? The Eagles ain't the same team as they were last year. They're missing mustard. Something's not right. And I don't know if it's going to get right in time for the playoffs. But that's their problem. I could give a shit less about them. I'm going to say this. I'm an old school guy. I've stood behind Jones. I've already told you where I stand. You're going into year 6. You still don't know who Daniel Jones is. That's good enough for me to know that he's not the guy. I don't care how many animals you put on this O-line. Whether we've built it right or we still need players. Yes, we need 2 more pieces on the O-line. You got 2 picks in the second. We're going to have probably the 4th or 5th pick in the NFL draft overall. You could tell me all you want. Let's go get that generational tackle from Notre Dame or Penn State. Right? Joe Alt? Right? Fine. Believe me, I'd love to have one of those tackles. It is not a smart decision to let this quarterback class pass you by. Let's put the pieces together. Shane and Dabble have not drafted their quarterback yet. They've gone with Jones, with the Mara train. They've given him his chance. Now he's got a busted knee. He's coming off with a neck injury. Yeah, he'll recover. Yeah, Daniel Jones will be here next year to start week 1. That's fine. You draft a kid to sit behind him and learn. They also put the 2-year out in Jones' contract. They paid him good money, what they believe he deserved on the market. They paid him for being a great citizen here and a leader for the Giants, handling the media in New York. They also paid him because they're going to move on from him. And I think they did the right thing. You think NFL teams care about a couple extra million? Come on, get serious here. These aren't average Joes in the streets. You gave Jones 4 years. 2 years out. Nothing guaranteed after that. Stop being stupid, fools. Look at the picture. Put the puzzle together. They had the 2-year out knowing that this class of quarterbacks was coming out in this coming draft. They got him for 1 more year. They get a kid. They sit him behind him for a little while. And when Dabble thinks it's the right time to stick him in, that's what you do. A la what they did with Kurt Warner and Eli Manning. And they put Eli Manning in there in week 10 that year? When it was time to move on and look at the future. And that's what's going to happen next year. And there's 2 quarterbacks in this draft. And I don't care what you guys tell me. My history with players being drafted has been pretty damn good. Anyone who works with me, the Blue Crew, all the guys, they know that. I know how to evaluate talent. I'm not telling you I'm some guru or special. Played quarterback for many years. Not NFL. But when you played it, you understand it. You think like a quarterback. I see quarterbacks. I said Levis was going to be the most NFL-ready quarterback out of that draft, and that's being proven right. And if not yet, it will be. Drake May is a special quarterback. He's what they call the franchise quarterback. Drake May, he's him. Drake May can lift an organization, a team, and you could surround him with the pieces. So you reset, you wipe out 6 years, which is what Jones is going into his 6th year, and you go with a kid. Drake May is that guy. He's got the personality, the character, the leadership to overcome the crap in New York City, meaning hungry, thirsty fan base with no patience, the media who looks to try to irk at you like they did to Zach. Jones is really good at handling the New York media. Give him credit for that. This kid has all that in him. And I'm sorry, guys like Khalib, very talented kid, doesn't strike me as a guy who's going to last in New York. You can't come into New York and be a sensitive kid. You can't be looking at Twitter and the media and the radios and getting mad that the fans and the media are criticizing you. You expect growing pains in the first year or 2 out of a young quarterback. If Khalib's going to get angry and avoid the media in California and cry in the stands to his mom, and I understand it was an emotional moment, so I don't even put that against him. But that type of shit don't go in New York. You got to be a leader of men. You want to cry, you better do it on the inside. On the outside, your face better be rock strong. Because you got beasts that are looking up towards you. Part of the reason why Zach hasn't worked out with the Jets, because he's got men looking at him like he's 9 years old. Sensitive, it's not my fault, it was the wind. He always had excuses at the beginning, which is where he lost the locker room. You know, look, and we have the right coach to develop quarterback. Daboll's one of the best at working directly with quarterbacks. I mean, look, he made DeVito look serviceable, right? Come on. He helped the growth of Allen. And he showed you last year some pretty great coaching up of Daniel Jones. Yo, I love Daniel Jones for what he's done. I like the man he is, the leader, the gym rat he is, the video rat he is. He tries. He gives you everything. He takes a beat down and stands there and continues to play, never opens his mouth, and he'll take the assault from the media for the team. But I'm at the point now where Daniel Jones is not the guy. You got a neck injury, you got a knee injury. Come back, start week 1, that's fine. The New York Giants are going to have a shot to get Drake May, and I consider Drake May to be the diamond of this draft. We'll see if I'm stupid. I've proven myself with this bullshit in the past. Everyone who knows me, who watches me, knows. And I'm not saying everyone else's opinion doesn't matter. It does. I like getting people's opinions. Yeah, are there 2 unbelievable mountain of tackles in the top 10 or 15? Yeah, there are. Guess what? We've added pieces to the O-line, and we're not far off. It's just a matter of time of developing, and I think we got to move on from Bobby and get a new offensive line coach, some new ideas, some new schemes, because this guy's schemes clearly haven't fit these guys. You've also had injuries. You take Evan Neal. If you really think he could still be tackle, work his ass. If not, you move him into guard. He's a really good run blocker. You put him at guard. You could go get a tackle, and it don't got to be at 4 or 5. You could get the tackle in the second round. You got 2 picks. Or you could come back into the late one with those picks and go get your tackle. There's about 6 or 7 really good tackles. Yes, the Penn State and Joe Alt from Notre Dame are on another level. But the other guys are really good and can be developed to be really good tackles. And then you go in free agency with your $71 million or $70 million, whatever it is. You go get a veteran guard, obviously. You bring back Pugh on the bench. You bring back Phillips on the bench so you have depth, because we all know injuries to the Giants O-line seem to be like best friends, especially on that garbage shit turf that we play on. Until they lay down natural grass, it's just injuries are guaranteed for the Jets and Giants, unfortunately. Hopefully that changes soon, but that's for another video. I've done that turf shit video 3-4 years ago, so it's old. Nothing's changed. They laid down a new, same crappy turf. Nothing different. You gotta go to grass. But I think the whole league is trending that way eventually in the next few years. I place my name on Drake May. I don't give a shit. He's from North Carolina, and quarterbacks in the past haven't panned out like that. I don't look at things like that. Go watch the tape. Go watch the film. Go see who this kid is, a leader and a person. He's got alpha male tendencies. You need that in your quarterback. He's also a gym rat. He's going to put in the hard-ass work. Okay? There's a few other quarterbacks, but the second quarterback, if they can't get Drake May, and they may have to move up to 2, and Arizona will be willing to trade out if you give them the right package. And the right package is your one this year, your 1 in 25, and one of our 2s in this year's draft. So we'd be giving up some stuff, and you might even have to throw a 3 or a 4 in next year's draft, maybe. But when you believe that guy is the franchise diamond quarterback, he's the guy you believe in him. We all know Joe Schoen has lived. Joe Schoen and his Giants scouts have lived at Drake May's games all year long for a reason more than any other quarterback. And if you say they haven't, you're a goddamn liar or you don't know. So I'm going to fucking let you know. Drake May's the kid that turns these franchises around. You add 2 pieces on the O-line. One can be in free agency. And you look for the receivers. And we all know the Giants have eyes on T. Higgins, a free agent. Maybe Evans from Tampa. Maybe they pull off a trade because Dabo is close with Diggs. And he goes and gets Diggs if he feels he would come here and just behave himself. We all know he's a talent and a half, but you got to go get a number one receiver. Hyatt's young. He's not a one. He could be a good two on the other side, and that would make Wandell a hell of a weapon in the slot. Slayton is a four or a fourth, or coming off the bench. I'm fucking tired of Slayton, bro. I'm tired of, we got to stick with our guys, bro. Yo, clearly this is Shepard's last year, and I don't want to shit on him. He's a true giant, and he's busted his ass to come back from 3 major knee injuries. He's a leader on the team. The guy is washed. You want him around the team? Make him a receivers coach or an assistant coach. Cool. He cannot play football anymore. I said this 2 years ago. Stop with the sentimental bullshit. You guys who want to pass on this quarterback class, there's not another class coming down the pipeline in the next few years, regardless of what you want to try to convince yourself. You pass on this quarterback class, there's about 4 or 5 of them, and then a couple of more developmental projects. You pass on these QBs, you're left at the dark subway station standing all alone in the freezing cold. We're staring at another 4 or 5 years of 5 to 6 win seasons and fans bitching every single year. Shit's been ugly for too long. You want to break it? Drake May. I'm willing to go up to Arizona and give up what it takes like we did when we went after Eli Manning. You know, to me, who Drake May is? Call me crazy. Call Miz crazy. We'll see. It always depends also on where the quarterback goes. QBs are matched up to certain organizations and locations in the country. To me, Drake May, he's on a level of what we've only had 2 other quarterbacks in the last 40 or 50 years. Phil Simms and Eli Manning. And that's the type of caliber quarterback and leader I think we would be getting. Now, if you don't want to trade your picks up, or for some reason you can't grab them, or Washington and New England somehow grabbed them ahead of us, and I actually think we're going to move ahead of New England by the time the season's over, because I can see them beating the Jets. I don't see a win for us in the next 2 weeks. And I hate to say this is unlike my history. I don't want to win. Play hard like you did yesterday. Get respect for playing hard. Lose, which is probably what's going to happen anyway, since both games we're playing are teams that are fighting for playoffs and major seeds. If you can't get Drake May, and I do everything I can to go up and get him, because that's the guy they want, and there's a lot of value in the guy you want. The second guy is Jaden Daniels out of LSU. Now, it'll be very different than the type we've ever drafted in our history, but maybe it's time to change history, because maybe it's time for change. He'll be there at 4 or 5, and I still draft him. You draft Jaden Daniels. You let him sit for a year behind Jones. He learns everything there is to know about the quarterback position in the NFL and being around New York City. And Jones will teach him. He's not the type that's going to say, I'm not going to teach him to take my job. Daniel Jones got paid handsomely. He's set for life with his $80 million. We took care of him. He'll do the right thing. He's that type of man. And when the time comes, you put the kid in. And look, if you do draft a quarterback, you go into next year with Daniel Jones. And somewhere at midseason before the trade deadline, you know some team's losing a major quarterback. It happens every year. And look how many teams lost their starting quarterbacks this year that would have probably traded for Jones if he wasn't injured. And you showcase Jones the first few weeks. Hopefully we play good football. Right? You build the O-line a little stronger. I think we already started building it. Now you got to add to it. You bring in Barkley back. I give him a 2-year with a 30-year option contract at $13 million a year. That's fair as hell. And you know he wants to be here. And we didn't trade him at the deadline for a reason. And look, at next year's trading deadline, some team's calling you for Daniel Jones. And that's when you pull the trigger and you move on to the kid you drafted. Would it be nice to go back a few spots and get more picks? Yeah. Stack up more O-lineman and edge rusher? Yeah. But this quarterback class is different, and we're not having this in the next few years. The time is now Jones is on his last year of guaranteed money. The time is now. And these guys want their guy and they deserve it. I'm sorry. Well, coulda, woulda, shoulda, if we built the right line and got a number one receiver and all that, maybe it coulda, shoulda. Jones could have been special. Maybe yes, maybe no. Guess what? Shoulda and wouldas win you 5 or 6 games a year. The writing's on the wall, brothers. He's going into his 6th year and we still don't know what it is. And we ain't got no more years to waste. These guys want their guy. They're going to reset the clock. And Dable's the right guy to groom a young rookie quarterback. You got to take a quarterback in this draft. The draft dictates that it's a quarterback draft. It's not going to be like that for a while. And where we're picking at 4 or 5 dictates that you got to get the quarterback, because I don't want to be back picking 5th anymore. It's embarrassing. And this fan base has lowered itself to the point where, oh, the Giants played hard last night. They gave us a good game. They could have won bad ref call or one more play down the field, or if Taylor started. Oh, coulda, shoulda. Oh, it was a good game. Hey, the Giants gave us a nice game. How fucking long, how many years are you going to settle for being the team that sucks ass and tried hard but never has the real chance of winning? I'm sorry, the Giants played hard last night. At no moment in that game did you honestly think the Giants were winning the game. And I'm tired of that shit. And that's not who this franchise was growing up. Now we have a strong defense, and we're probably one edge rusher away from being a real big-time defense. And I like the kid Riley in the middle, next to Dexter. Banks is nasty. Okereke and McFadden are nice, and maybe you could go add another linebacker here. Okereke's a beast. Should be in the Pro Bowl this year. He leads the league in tackles. I believe it's somewhere around 120. Guy's nasty. McFadden's young, physical, and hungry. Doesn't miss plays. That's big. Look, man. Nobody can sit there and say I had hate for Jones. I fought for this guy for like 4 or 5 years. But you know what? The writing's on the wall. Drake May's a special quarterback. I don't give a shit what college he's playing for. I look at the play. I look at his character. I look at how he throws. I look at his accuracy. I look at the player. And you got to understand that some colleges have way more weapons than others. That's why QBs come out of Ohio State, loaded team, and don't live up to what they were in college in the NFL, because they had all these weapons around them. Time to go get the next quarterback. And if it means giving away 2 or 3 picks to go up and get Drake May, if you believe that's the guy, and I've looked at this guy, he's the diamond of this class, you go get him. And if you can't, then you take Jaden Daniels and you work on him for the future. I can't wait another 3 more years for the next class of quarterbacks. Couple other things. Last night's game was a big time game. You saw a difference between a big man's game and a little kid's game. Okay? The Ravens and Niners played a big time game. Both those teams are going to be in the Final Four this year, without a doubt. My 2 dark horses right now, watch out for the Rams in the NFC. They know the Niners well and they can make some noise. Seattle's another team if they get in. I still think the Cowboys are strong. Losing a tight game to Miami doesn't change my mind. They're capable of damage in the playoffs because they have probably the best pair of edge rushers. And that's always a problem in big-time games. The Buffalo Bills are scary right now. I don't think anyone in the AFC wants to play them. And I think they'd be lined up to play Kansas City in the first round right now. And I'd put my bank on the Buffalo Bills. Kansas City has lost itself. Things are wrong. There's arguing. They don't have a scary receiver. They got a bunch of receivers that are very pedestrian. A couple of them don't think right at all. We all know who I'm talking about. Was never wrong about that guy, Tony. Okay? He's got 1 foot out the door of the league and the other one on a banana. Okay? The Bills can definitely go on a run. They remind me somewhat of the 07 Giants where they got going really late in the season. It's one of those teams that can give any team matchup nightmares. And Josh Allen's capable. And with the way the Bills have changed their offense and are running the ball now, they look like a January football team. Miami's strong. I just never see Miami always ever do to make the big run. They never do, so I got to see it to believe it. Of course, everything rides on their quarterback staying healthy, which he has this year. they protected him. And Mansour's having a big year. Running back is a quarterback's best friend. We know that. And look, Lamar Jackson, to me, is an MVP candidate big time. And last night, Lamar Jackson, sometimes you got to throw the stats out the window. This is not a year of big stats for quarterbacks. You got to actually watch the game with your eyes. Lamar Jackson does things on the field that to me, no other quarterback in the league does. The guy's a freak. He's awesome to watch, and he's grown as a passer big time. You got to give a man credit that has come a long way from his rookie year. This guy changes the game by himself. Reminds me of a modern-day Vic. Does things like that. Last night, when he snuck out of Chase Young's arms like a little freaking cat, he bent backwards his body and snuck under his arms and took off for that huge run. Dude, that's things that MVPs do. Not every quarterback has the capability to do things with his legs. This guy can do it with his legs, his body, and his arms. Ravens have a strong defense. It ain't the Ravens of old defense, but Lamar Jackson is what makes that team tick. Tick, tick, tick. And he put it on the best team in the league last night. And you can't ignore that. And Purdy had a few interceptions. 2 of them weren't his fault. They bounced off people's hands. You know, it's part of the football game. It happens. But, Lamar is a special player, man. And, you got to consider him up there with a couple other players. He's definitely right there at the top. And if the Ravens go in and Lamar gives Miami the same type of beating and the same type of game next week, I got to put Lamar right there at MVP, at the top of the league this year. Okay, and they're probably going to finish with the best record in football. It is what it is, man. Your eyes tell you what this guy is. He's come a long way in about 3-4 years, too. And that's what I got to say. He got a big week of football next week, and that's all the Miz wanted to talk about. You know, look, it really sucks to be the type of fan that knows that losing right now is actually winning in the long term. But we've gotten to that point, and one of these wins these next 2 weeks is not really going to make you feel good for more than one night. Come draft night, you're going to wish you had that game back. And look, to be honest with you, you're playing the Rams and the Eagles. The Rams are fighting for a wild card. The Eagles are going to be fighting for the division in the last week of the season. And guess what? Even if you wanted to win, I don't really think the Giants can win. They just don't have the talent right now. And the type of season it's turned into, the motivation is there to play hard, but you're not really motivated to go out and crazy kill yourself to win because it's nothing on the line for it. What are you going to tell me? The players are playing for positions? Dude, it's week 16, 17, and 18. Most of our young players know they're going to be here. I'm not telling you they're losing on purpose because players and coaches don't do that. There are some coaches that make decisions to try to do that if they got together with the GM and have come to an agreement. But you would never know about it, especially in an organization like the Giants. Dude, it's over. You're out of the playoffs. You try to stay in the top 5 and give yourself all the choices in this draft. It's a very big draft. And the right pick can change the future big time for the Giants. That's my thoughts on where we stand.